Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining in the afternoon session. Let
Hello, Vinod.
me. Hi, Aitam. I think it's a recording, right, Aitam?
Yes, but
Perfect.
I believe we have only 21 join.
Yeah. So, are we send the right link to them, or
Yes, we can wait just 5 minutes and we can start.
no? No problem. We'll wait for it. I think we can start. It's almost like 22
Yes,
people.
Vinod, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Cool. Welcome back, guys. So far we did 4 workshops, right? So we started with the simple barcode, then OCR, then the line items, then now it's like OCR with OMR, right? So though it's look like it's a very simple software, but it's very solid. Yeah, you can do almost everything by Capture Pro. So the next, what we will focus is the workshop 5. The workshop 5 will be database lookup, right? So what exactly the database lookup does? For example, in your bank, okay, you will fill all your information in their website, okay? Then it will give you an, for example, like this document, healthcare, something like that. You will have all this information, okay? Fill in information, then it will give you an printout, for example, with the barcode, unique barcode with all the information filled in, right? So when you go to the bank, submit this application, what you filled in online, along with the supporting documents, right? Someone has to scan this application with the supporting documents which you provided to them, right? So as an operator, when you scan that, you no need to look for this information, indexing and stuff again and again and again, because all this information is already in the banking system, in the database as an, as a data, right? So this operator, at the time when the scan, the application form which you have printed online, which you filled in and printed online, along with the supporting documents, they can scan it. So when you scan, when it find one unique value, for example, the customer name or the customer ID, or maybe some unique ID, the rest it will go and match with the database. Whatever the rest of the information is already there in the database, you can pull out the information and you can process uh, the documents again to the backend process. So easy is that, right? So you no need to focus on the index fields again. You no need to create a job. You no need to create index fields. Just a matter of linking one key value with the existing database, pull out the rest of the information, whatever you need for the business process. Make clear? Okay. Same process again. Start with the basic job. Create a job. Workshop 5, which is database lookup. Okay. Make sure create a database lookup in workshop 5. Same process. We are just repeating the same process, what we did for all other jobs till now. So use the same process. Just make sure we are name as database lookup as a name. So just we are naming it. It will be very useful for you whenever in the future, if you want to refer, then it will be much more easier for you. Just go to the directly to the job and you can see what exactly the configuration we done. Okay. So bring to this screen for me, all of you. Just you can delete it or you can just create a new batch. If you create a new batch, the existing batch will be there in the backend. So both way you can do. You can use any basic setup, scan, ready to scan or scan to PDF, and copy that, save as, then play around. Okay, cool, great. Just make sure you select the job here. Okay, your job should be workshop 5, database lookup. Let's go to the separation because we are going to use the same health claim form. Just make sure the patch to also detected because we will be separating the documents based on the patch code. Okay, the same what we did in the previous workshop, right? Just made it. Then go to the job. Okay, basically here what we are doing it, we will be just capturing only. So this is the one example I just want to show it. When you scan in black and white mode, it will get rid of all the backend the red, focus only on the data which we have, right? So that will give you much more accuracy when you scan it. So fine, let's go to the same one. What you can do, you can import the image the same way, right? Then make sure you just have this OCR field. Okay. Document you have to import. This is what I said. You have to follow the same process which we've followed so far in the previous, right? If you guys not getting this page, just go make sure you're on the right page. Workshop 5, go to capture, manual import, import that file. Okay. And give some name. Then when you import the file, it should be in the job setup in the barcode here. Right click and copy to image. Job setup. Then you should have this page. So basically what we are doing here, we just focus on the patch code for the document separation, and we capture only the insurance ID, right? So whenever you capture the insurance ID, then we will go back to the database, and rest of the information we will populate automatically from the database, right? We are not capturing anything here. We are not making any zone here, right? For example, I want to capture the name, I capture the town, capture the zip code, blah, blah, blah. I will not be doing it in OCR here. I will just do a database lookup based on the insurance ID which I capture. Yeah. So just go to the OCR, create a zone for this particular one and name it as insurance ID. And no separation because we are not separating. We are just, yeah. Image you have to. Sorry, which one? Yeah, image. Just use the outline form. Okay. The same image which we imported last. Okay. Right click, copy image to the job setup. Then you will have it here. Right. So when you have the image here, you have to just make sure you create a OCR zone for this one for the insurance ID. And when you create your OCR zone, just name it as an insurance ID number. Then you will have a number here which is captured. No separation because we are not doing any separation because the separation is based on the patch code at the document. Clear? Done? So now we need to create an index fields, right? Basically for the zone, we did the zone only for the insurance ID number as a zone. And the rest, all this information, the index field will be populated from the database. Clear? So when I take the insurance ID, it will go and check in the database. Whatever the insurance ID it is there related to these fields, rest everything will be populated automatically. Clear? So I want you to create all these index fields, right? In index fields, just make sure you will not use any default value here. Okay. So we will be typing it, then the rest everything will be populated, right? You cannot use any default value because we did not create any zone except the insurance ID number, right? The rest that doesn't have a zone to match with. Okay. So keep it simple. Just create only these fields and by default, don't change anything for the default values. Keep it as it is. Yeah. So I want you to create all the index fields as mentioned in my screen. So I recommend if any of your customers or partners, whoever having data in the database, I prefer to use the database because the data will be much more accurate rather than reading or capturing from the document, right? So as long as you can access the database, better use the database lookup. It's a the accuracy will be perfect. That's right. And also wherever there is a barcode where you can use it, use the barcode rather than OCR, because OCR will be not accurate 100% every time. So that's a simple barcode. Sorry, the index zones, create all these index zones and leave it blank. Don't do anything. No default value, nothing. Leave it as it is. And your screen should look something like this, which is shown in my screen. The insurance ID, also keep it empty. Yes, because I want to show how it works. Otherwise, it will automatically populate. Whenever you scan it, find an insurance ID, you will have all the information. So I don't want to do that now for the training. I just want to show when I enter how it populate. For now, leave it blank. Later, if you want, you can add it there. So all the fields in the default value should be blank for all the index fields.
Yes, Thomas. Thomas has his hand on. Thomas?
Done, guys? Okay, I hope you have created the index fields. Now what we have to do, we have to map these index fields with your database, right? So there is an option here, database lookup. So just go to the database lookup here. You should have an empty here. Okay, just click add. Okay, and give a name, patient name, whatever. Just a lookup name. Okay. So before doing that, we need to create an ODBC database, right? Because we are not linking any directly with an SQL or something. We are just creating our own Access database. So I want you guys to go to an ODBC, create an ODBC database, then we will link that to here. Clear? So for that, let's go search ODBC. Okay. There is an ODBC data source 32-bit. Okay, click add. Make sure you are in system DNS, sorry, user DNS or system DNS. You can do it in any way, but for now it's your local PC. You only have an access, so you can create an user DNS, right? DSL. Or if you want to have, we are sharing the PC with the different users, right? Every different users will be logging on your system. Then better to create in the system, right? Not on the user level. Now let's create an user level. Click add. Yeah. ODBC. I also feel your number of database, but we are the yeah, of course, yours will be empty because I have plenty of this. That's what I want you to add, right? So click add in the right side, click add. Okay. So if you have this screen, come back down. There should be Microsoft Access driver. Okay. .mbd, sorry, mdb. Got it? Click finish. See here, see my screen. Clear? Click finish. Right? Give any name, data source name. It can be anything, but you have to remember what name you have given. Okay. Maybe you can give for ODBC or client or healthcare. So whatever you can give any name you want. Okay. The description, just copy paste. For example, I will put test. Okay. Then there is an option here, database select. So we need to select that access files, right? So I have shared this access file in the student pack as an database lookup. You should have in the student file. Just open it, student pack. You should have that file. Select. Just make sure where did you copy that student file? Where is the student file folder which I shared with you? Okay, inside you should have it. So in my case, I have it in users. Just select the student file where you have copied. If you have copied in the desktop, then you have to find in desktop or whatever the folder you copied, you have to map that here.
Vinod, we have a question here from Thomas regarding the separation by batch code. So the customer will not have batch code printed in a form. So I believe we have two options. They can print the batch code in the form itself or in a separate page, empty page.
Yes. If they don't have it in the form, they can create a separate patch code for the separation and delete that patch.
Yeah.
Okay. So just select your folder, the student pack folder, which I shared with you. There you should have a demo database. In the demo database, there is an health client. You should have clients.mdb. Sunday, are you following? Okay. Guys, it's very simple. Just copy that folder somewhere in the C colon or something that will be much more easier for you rather than routing through the desktop. Okay. So just go to the demo student pack, demo database. Inside there is an health client. Inside health client, you will find this clients.dmb in the left side. Make sure you guys are in the screen. Done. Okay, so make sure you select the client's MDB file. This is the file I shared with you, which have the complete information of the insurance ID and the name and everything. So this is the database we will be using it for the lookups. Then click OK. Click OK. Then you should have the test. I have created test or whatever the name you guys have created should be available here. Clear? Now, if you go back to your the lookup to the. Are you guys okay? All good? Okay, perfect. Now, when you go back to the Capture Pro, the lookup name, you can give any lookup name. Clear? Then there is a data source name. Browse. Right? Go to machine data source. Just browse machine data source. You should have the one which you have created. Right? Test. Clear? Okay. Then when you click the data source table, you should be able to see the table. The first one, the client info. Just see my screen, the client info. Okay. The client info is the database where all the information is available. Clear? Sorry? Yeah. Okay. So make sure you select the data source which you have created in the ODBC, and also in the database table, make sure you select the client info, right? This is the information you need to select. Then click next, right? So when you click next, you have to make sure you populate the index field. Then look the index field. I want to look the index field, which is the insurance ID. So in my lookup table, it's written as INID in the Access database. So whenever you read this and whenever you match this, then rest all the information below, just map it. Okay. So maybe for you, it is not mapped. You have to map it manually. Just in the patient name, just come down. You will have the list. Just put patient name. And the employee it's showing for you. Good. For you, Daljit? Showing? Okay, just make sure populate index field and the index insurance number. So this is my document index, which I have created. So then whenever this insurance is related to this in my database, match it. If both are matching, then related to this particular column with table, whatever the information is available related to this insurance ID, map it, right? So now for the patient name is the patient name. It should be in the drop down list for you. You will be able to select it. Employee name, insurance plan, city, state, and zip, so on, so on, so on. Just map it and make sure everything is mapped correctly. Done. Cool. Right? So now you will have something like this. When you click next, you will have something like this. Then click next. Make sure you populate everything here. Okay, map it. Then click next. Okay. Then don't change anything. Just click next. Now you can run a test query also just to make sure whether this is working. This is communicating with the database. It is communicating. That's what you are able to fetch the data to map, right? But still, if you want to test it, you can do a test, right? You can put an insurance ID number. For example, my insurance ID number. Let me take one from here. Health claim 162 62 dash 17003. Okay, 17 0. Right? So this is my insurance number. So whenever I type the insurance number, it should be able to fetch the data from the database, right? I'm able to get, there are 2 entries for this particular insurance ID in my database. So it will automatically fill in all the information which is associated to the database and the index. Clear, guys? Okay, so now everything is working because we've done a test query. You are able to pull out all the information. We are okay to go, right? Then click finish, then click OK, right? And if you want to do some output, say you guys know already what exactly the output we are talking about, then click OK. Clear? Now let's try to scan some documents and check whether it's populating whenever you do it. Yeah. So for that, what you have to do, you have to change the auto import setup. Make sure you use the right workshop, which is database lookup. Okay. Click OK. Then copy the files, sample files, which is health claim form files, to the auth folder. Clear? Then scan. Okay. So if you noticed, this is split the documents based on the patch code. Okay. So you have noticed that there is nothing has been read because I purposefully I did it because I want to enter the insurance ID. Then it should populate the rest of the field, right? So for that, I will go to index. Okay. So this is my ID, right? So I will just do an rubber band OCR. See, it automatically pull out from the database because it found two entry here, right? For the same insurance ID, there are two names. Which one I want to select for you, right? So I can see here my name. This one is the grant. So I will select the grant. Clear? If you have only one name under this insurance ID, it will automatically populate rest of it automatically. Since it has two names with the same, it's asking you to select which one you want to select. So I can look my document here in my left side. Oh, this is related to this guy. So I will select Zoop. Rest will populate. Make sense? Right? This is just for purpose. I just kept insurance ID empty. If you select insurance ID as a default value, so whenever it picked up automatically at the time of scanning, you no need to do all this manual entry, right? Automatically it will populate all the information. You can immediately process. Okay. Just for testing purpose, I kept it blank so I can show you how the things works for you. Clear? Cool. Any questions, Aitam?
No, Vino.
Any questions here in this room, or is it clear? Or it's confusing? All okay? So you have to play around, right? In one day, you will not able to learn anything. It's too much, I know, for you guys, but we have to cover everything in a day or two, right? So the more you play around, the more you will learn. When you go back, install it, get a license. We can give you the demo license, play around, import images, try zone, OCR, OMR, play around. Any questions, get in touch with us. We can help you. Okay. That's the way you can learn. Otherwise, you will be blank as usual. Okay. Cool. Now let's go to the other workshop now. That will be workshop 6. Okay. So far what we covered the basic OCR and we covered the barcode, how to split the barcode, and we saw how to split the line items. Then we saw the OMR, how we can create the OCR and OMR. Then also we saw the database lookup now. The next one will be the SharePoint Online. Okay. So most of the customer here, especially in the Middle East region, I'm not sure about the other regions here. In Middle East regions, when you talk about DMS, either they will talk about the full enterprise DMS like a FileNet or Laserfish, Documentum, or so on, or they will go with Share. SharePoint is very commonly used. Okay, so it's very solid DMS. So we have a straight connector right out of the box in the KCP where you can directly push it to the share. Okay. So let's see how we can create the SharePoint. For that, I don't think so you guys are able to do it because you should have a SharePoint access, but I will show you how we can do the configuration. Okay. So in the SharePoint, this is very easy, right? So you will go to the job setup. You will go directly. There is an option here, right? Make sure you select the right job, SharePoint. Okay, so I don't want you guys to do this because you don't have any SharePoint access. So if you have any SharePoint access in your office or some maybe in the customer, they have a SharePoint, directly we can configure and we can push the metadata and also the images directly to the respective tables and the libraries. Make sense? To configure the SharePoint, it's very easy. There is an option for the SharePoint wizard. Okay, you will just go here. So before that, you will ask the customer to create a library and the table that in the share. Okay, so for me, this is my SharePoint. Let me just log in. Okay, so this is my KCP SharePoint. Okay, so this is the one what I have created is the first name, date, gender, ID number, date of birth, and the status, right? So these are all the fields I will be capturing using one of the sample documents. So before I create or any job in the Capture Pro, I need to create the library and the table in the SharePoint so I can match, right? So whenever I find the index field is so, match with the SharePoint. Okay, so for example, if it's the first name, if I create a first name in the index field, I type the first name there in the capture pro. Whenever I process, it should come. Okay, clear? So you have to ask the customer to provide us the library and also the tables, what exactly they want to match. Clear? Right. Then this is my SharePoint. Okay. So you have to just create a new, whenever you create a SharePoint, just create a new one, give the SharePoint any name. It can be any name just for your reference. And this will be the SharePoint site, right? So you have to give the SharePoint site what exactly it's all about. Then make sure whether this is a SharePoint online or it's just SharePoint on-prem. If it is on-prem, just leave it as it is. If it is online, just make sure you tick the online, right? And also the new version, we come across with the multi-factor authentication. So earlier it used to have a standard one user and password for everyone. Now it is like each individual, they can just use their Active Directory using the multi-factor authentication without even entering the username password. Directly you can log in and access to the SharePoint. So whoever have in SharePoint access, they can directly log into the SharePoint. Clear? Then you will have, sorry, that's by default in the multi-factor authentication. So whenever you log in, it automatically takes it. So you have to have an access on the SharePoint. That's it, multi-factor authentication, right? So then you'll have to provide the host name here. Okay. Then this is the site name will be the root by default, or if you have any different one, you can select it. Otherwise, just keep it as a root. And always you can do a test connection just to make sure you are having a communication between the Capture Pro to the SharePoint. Okay, so just run the test connection. So this is what it's logging in using my credentials. Then it will look into the SharePoint and it will say connection is okay. That means I'm okay. I'm able to communicate with the SharePoint. Clear? Then I can go to the next. Now this is the configuration. I did it for the SharePoint communicate. Then I will go to the next to match my index field with my SharePoint. Clear? Then I click next. So I will select the SharePoint list. So these are all the list in my SharePoint. Okay, so I will select which library or the document which I will be using it. And this will be the document type, what document type I will be using. Make sense? So Vinod KCP is my SharePoint library, Vinod KCP, right? So here is the document and I will be matching it. Then click next, right? So here you will be matching it what to what, right? So for example, first name is from the SharePoint. This is the first name. Okay, the same first name is the one which I created in the index. Clear? So all the index fields which I created, I will be matching with the SharePoint library table. Clear? Makes sense? So whenever the index field read any value on the first name, that will automatically, once you process it, it will go to the SharePoint. Clear? Cool. So these are all the index fields I have manually created, right? Or when you configure the SharePoint, it will automatically populate here. Either way you can do it. Okay, so you no need to create anything manually as long as when you're communicating to the SharePoint, when you do all the configuration in the SharePoint, these information will be automatically pulled from the SharePoint to our index slide. Either way you can do it, but you no need to create manually because it's already from the SharePoint, it will populate all this information. Clear? Right? So where are we? Now in the SharePoint, right? Cool. Now let me just scan some documents for the SharePoint. Number 6. So if you see my SharePoint here, this is empty, right? There is nothing now. So let me scan some documents. Let me just go to auto import. Let me select. This is a SharePoint. This is mandatory. You have to make sure you choose the right one. Then I will scan some documents, which is public service documents. So okay, to the auto folder. Then I will scan. If you see this document, do it separate it based on the barcode, because I did not show any configuration to you guys, because you guys are aware of it, how to do the configuration for the barcode separation and how to do the index and blah, 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 blah. So these are all the information. I captured it. So if you want to show the job setup, I will just go to the job setup. So this is what I did it in my job setup, right? So I just create the barcode to separate. On the item line 1, 2, 3, I created 3 item lines. On the item lines also, I just split it based on the line items, right? So this is one field, but with the line items, I splitted item 1, 2, 3, 4 and all. So if you see here, you can see the line items I have created, right? I don't want to repeat the same again because we covered it already. Clear? So now I have captured all this information on document 2, document 3, blah, 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 blah. Everything has been captured automatically. Now, when I process this, okay, you can always see whatever the document which you processed, you can see the status, whether it's processing or it's processed, so on, you can see here in the view, right? So this is the batch process status where you can see the status. This document is still being processed to the SharePoint. It will take a few seconds, then it will process.
You are sending something the record from data. That is something PDF file.
We are sending a PDF file. We are sending image and also the metadata.
It's a field on
No, I will show you when it processes how it looks like. Whenever you push it to SharePoint, now if you see this tray is empty, means it's processed. So when you go here to a SharePoint, see, these are all the images, the PDF images is named based on the barcode. And also if you see the first name, date, gender, blah, 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 everything is there in the DMS already, right? In the future, maybe tomorrow or maybe after 6 months, the customer want to retrieve this barcode. Just simply type the barcode and search. So easy is that, right? So perfect. So most of our customer here, they use SharePoint. It's very easy to integrate, very solid, and also it's it's the perfect DMS, I can say, especially.
Can you show me the link that you put?
Yeah, sure. The PDF file, you will be configuring it here. If you go to the job setup, output, not here. You will not configure anything in the file outputs here. It's directly going to the SharePoint wizard. Next. These are the fields which we mapped. When you click next, here you will save where you want to save, right? So I will save in the root folder. Then I will create a PDF file, right? If you want to create a folder, subfolder, for example, here in here, rather than putting into the root folder, if you want to create a date or something, blah, blah, blah. So you can simply do it here, browse, and you can, sorry, not here. Here. Yeah. Yes, you can do that as well. So, okay. In the setup, here you can select what format you want. You want to have a batch ID, date and time, whatever, you can have it there. So it automatically comes. Make sense? Clear? Any questions?
Guys, do you have any questions regarding the SharePoint? No, we not. Can continue.
Cool. So let's go to workshop 3. So whenever, guys, if you have a SharePoint in your office, or you can create your SharePoint library also, right? It's easy to do that. So you can create one, play around with it. Any questions, if anytime, anything, please feel free, okay, to come back to us. Okay, I want you to guys to start the workshop 7. Just skip workshop 6 now. Just workshop 7. Do the same process. Okay, so in the workshop 7, we will be covering the drop down list, how to create a drop down list. Okay. The drop down list is all about, for example, if the customer is having a various region, if you say consider as an insurance company, right? So they will be receiving a different document from the different regions. For example, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, blah, 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 blah. So rather than you cannot create a zonal OCR, for example, there is no space or there is no place to create a zonal OCR to read the where exactly the place is all about. Then you can create a drop down list and you can select it. This belongs to whom, which region, this belongs to which customer. So everything you can create a drop down list and you can select as well. Okay, so we will cover that. So for that, I want you to just start from the basic again and create a workshop 7 as drop down list.
The document. Recommendation. Very clear. Drop down listing.
Yeah.
Following the image. Point to later.
Don't import anything now. Yeah, we will import it, right? We will allow them to create the workshop 7 first, then we will do it. Okay, so just make sure you create a fresh job called workshop 7 drop down list. So I want you guys to do it with the job setup. Again, the same process. So here we are not doing any kind of zone or something. This is not a standard document we are using it. So we will be using any generic document. With the generic document, I will show you how to split the document, then how to do the index and the drop down list. Okay, so let's start with job setup. Okay, and go sorry, go to index directly. Okay, so we are not doing anything on the barcode or nothing. If you see here, there is no image, nothing, because we are not referring any image to capture, right? It's a generic image. So we will not be doing any separation, nothing. Okay, just directly go to the index. Make sure you have the right job, drop down list, go to index. Okay, in index, here we will be doing it batch level. So I want to show you how the batch level work for you and also the document level, right? In the batch level, I want you to create an employee name. Okay, just make sure you're in the batch level in the left side here and click employee name. You have to add, right? When you add employee name, keep everything blank and make sure it's required field. Okay. Just give a name, any name, employee name, and keep it record and keep everything blank as it is as a standard. Don't change anything. Then the branch. Okay. The branch will be drop down list. We will be creating a drop down list. Okay. In the same batch level, you make it an employee name, add one more, name it as branch. So the branch will be drop down list. Okay. So we will be selecting from the drop down list which branch it's related to. Okay. That is, and make the type as a drop down list as a type. Okay. Make sure this is a drop down list. It's a record field. And the default value, we are not setting anything because we did not create any zone. We did not, so sample image, nothing. This is generic images, right? So now to the drop down list, you have to go to the setup here in the list in the down, click setup. And I want you to write all this name and click add like in the value. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Align. You have to type it here and click add. If you have a database, so you can import also from the database. If the customer is having a huge list, so you cannot enter one by one, right? It takes ages. So if the customer is already having in an Excel sheet or in an Access database, directly you can import from the list very easily. You can create an ODBC and you can create it, right? You can easily import as well. So for now, for the demo purposes, just create these names. Just type here Dubai and click add, Abu Dhabi add, and so on, so on, so on.
And here we note value description mean like value label. If I want to
That's
use
just a
value
label. It's
label,
nothing. Yeah, it's nothing much to do with it. Yeah.
but I need to change in the indexing action to use
No,
value only or to use value only.
So you don't need to have a description as long as you are good with the values. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Done, guys. Right. Then just here in the down in the index action, you can just say use value only. Or if you use the description, you can say description only or use value and description. Okay. Let's keep only use value and click OK. Right. And you should have something like this in the list. Okay. Cool. Now we're done with the batch level. Okay. The batch level is before scan. Okay. Whatever you want to enter it, you have to enter before scan. Then you can scan the documents. Clear? Then document level. Okay. So we have to have a document level index also for this job. So I want to cover the batch level and the document level for the same job, right? So you will understand what is batch and what is the document. Clear? So in the document level, again, I want you to add something. If anything is there, just delete it and add as an document type. Okay. So in the document type, click add and document type like this. Type document type. Document type also will be a drop down list. Okay. And you will be adding these information there: resume, appointment letter, and salary certificate. Okay. So if you don't know how to do that, if you go to the setup, right? You go to the setup from here, you will be adding it here, click add, so on, so on, so on. Okay. Resume, appointment letter, and salary certificate. Yeah, the import list is all about if you have a huge database, right? If you have this information, the values in the Excel sheet or an Access database, so you cannot enter it manually, right? If you have hundreds and thousands information, then you cannot enter it there. So you can create an ODBC. From there, you can pull it. That's much more easier. Yeah, this is one of the Dubai database municipality. This is one of the project we did recently in Allied municipality where I have created for that. So you can do that as well. Okay, just to make sure you have this list clear. So we have two. One is batch, two index field. The branch is drop down list, and document type, that is also a drop down list. Clear? In the output, you can create a PDF output. Okay, go to output, create a PDF. Make sure it's a multi-page always. I always recommend you keep it as multi-page until unless the customer insists to have a single page. Okay. Then the location, I want to create a batch level indexing here for the folder. So the batch level will be branch. It should create a folder branch. Under the branch, it should be employee name. Okay. So this should be the folder, right? The export path is the default folder, which I have in my job setup. Along with that, I want to have this one, the employee branch, this branch, and also the employee name. Clear? So what you have to do with the export path, backslash, this is the first one, you can double click. Then you will have the branch, double click. Again, the slash, the backslash will create a subfolder. Okay, that's the purpose of having a backslash. Then the employee name. Clear? So this should be the location formula. So this will be the folder structure, right? So it will create a subfolder for the information which I do. Okay. Then in the file name, I want to have a document type. What kind of document type I will be scanning it? So that should be my file name. Clear? So that you can take it from down. If you have any pre-existing, just click delete formula. So it will delete everything. You will have a blank. Then you can have it whatever you want to have. Clear? Then default extensions. Are following? Good. Good. Cool. Right? So simple. Now let's scan something. Just go create a new batch. Make sure you have workshop 7 drop down list. Click OK. So at the time when you open your job set, sorry, the batch itself, you can see these two fields, right? Employee name and branch, right? Cool. This will be the batch level, right? When you connect the scanner, that will not allow without even entering those. Clear? So let's joke to the job setup again in the auto import, in the capture, auto import setup. Make sure you use the right job, which is job 7. Clear? Good. Okay, now just go to your sample images in the student pack. You will have a drop down list images. Double click. Okay. And copy all these 3 and put it in your art folder. Okay. Then just run. Okay. So if you noticed here, there is no document separator because we have no option to create a document separator because this is for an HR department, for an employee records, for example. So they will be having an appointment letters. They will be having their resume. They will have a salary certificate. So I want to, archive this. How I can do that, right? I have scanned all their documents. So there is no option to automatically split or separate the documents. So I will be doing it manually. Okay. So to manual, see here, 1, 2, 3 is my appointment letter. So I want all these 3 should be as in one document, as an appointment letter document. And the resume I want to split, right? So you can just simply right click, split down. Okay. So that become document number 2 resume. Then I have a salary certificate here. So salary certificate should be a different document, right? So I can right click and I can split this as clear. Now I have a 3 set of documents. Document 1 is the appointment letter. Document 2 is the resume. Document 3 is my salary certificate. Yeah, these are all the same. 1, 2, 3, 3 pages. Yeah. Yeah, because I have that salary certificate here, the appointment letter here. This is a 3-page appointment letter. 3-page appointment letter. That's what it shows me here, 3 pages. 3 pages. It will not automatically put it because we are not doing any zone or any key values because it's a manual import with a generic document. So you have to do it manually. So this is the purpose I want to show you how you can split the documents into different documents. Okay, so it was all in one page, right? In one document. So I splitted appointment letters separately and the document separately, and this is separately. Clear? The resume separately. Now, yeah, this is for one employee. Okay. So the one employee, I scan everything, right? Appointment letter, salary certificate, everything. Then I will split it because I want to understand what is for what. The letter, if I want to retrieve, I can retrieve it easily. Make sense? Okay. Now it's time to index, right? So I click index. If you see here, let me just bring it to one page. It will be easy. So this is employee name. It's a unique. I can type anything. Oh, okay. The branch, you remember we created the drop down list. So I want to select it. We know this from which branch? Is it from Dubai office or Abu Dhabi office, wherever? So I can select is from Dubai. And what document type is this? Right? This is a salary certificate, right? So I will just select this is a salary certificate. Yeah. Then I will go to the next document or the previous document, whatever. This is my resume. Then this will not change, right? This is the bachelor, right? It's a Vinod and he belongs to Dubai branch. So you no need to change it every time. Make sense? So I will change only the document type. This is resume. Then I will go to that. This is my appointment letter. Make sense? I will save this. I'm done. Clear? Now, if you see right side, the document 1 is the appointment letter. Vinod is the employee name. He is from Dubai branch. And this is his appointment letter. The document 2 is for the resume. It's a resume. Document 3 is for salary certificate, right? So this is the manual process. This is not something automatically we are not doing it. It's a complete manual process, but we have an option to do the drop down list and select and split or whatever you want to do. You can do that, right? Even the customer is not using a standard document or structured document. If it is unstructured document, we still have a solution to do the things manually. Make sense? Clear. Now, if I process this, I expect this to save in desktop. And the drop down. See, created Dubai, right? Dubai as an branch. So because I want to create a branch as a folder, as a root folder. Inside the branch, it should be the employee name is the Vinod employee name. Inside, I have my things which I create, right? For example, if I open the salary certificate, this is the salary certificate. Clear, guys? Any questions? Put into the separate document. Either you can move and merge as in one document, or you can have a two separate document. This will be salary certificate 1, salary certificate 2. You can do that. Yeah, you can play around many things. Yes, of course, you can do that. Any questions, item on the chat?
No, Vinod, you can.
Okay, cool. So let's take a break, like a 10 minutes break. Then we will continue. We have another 3 workshops to go at. So like 10 minutes break, then we will continue again.
Sure.
Cool. We'll start again.
Yes, we know. Yeah. Please share your screen.
Can you see?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is what all about, the batch level indexing and the document level indexing and also the drop down list. Okay. Now I want you to guys to do the same for workshop 8. So we will be doing double entry. So the double entry is all about, all right. So whenever for the financial sectors, it's all about the money and currency, right? You need to make sure, for example, whatever the amount you enter to the system, it should be correct, right? So always it's safe to have two entries. One index guy will entry one, the other index guy will check and also he will enter it. So if both are matching, then it will process it. If not, then again it will go to the index 3 or so on, right? So this is the safest way to enter the index fields, especially the crucial index fields like money where is involved. Okay, so this is one example. We will go through what exactly the double entry is all about, how it will process the back. Okay, so I want guys to create one more workshop using the same existing job. Make it workshop 8 and double entry. Item.
Yes, we know.
I think the team Microfilm Egypt is still in the old link, it seems. So can you just send them the new link? You just send me on WhatsApp.
I don't have emails.
You don't have the list?
George, no, it's in the BCC, so I don't have access to it. George, are you here?
Yes, Haitham. Yes.
Do you
George,
have
can you just
emails?
send it to Microfilm Egypt?
Can I what?
Can you send the new link to Microfilm Egypt? I think they're still trying to connect to the old link.
The old link. Okay, who's in microfilm
Good
Egypt?
afternoon. I think one Mr. Abu. Ahmed
Okay.
Abdu. Ahmed Abdu.
محمد عبده. اوكي. طيب هيثم اذا عندك ايميل بليز ابعت لي على شو اسمه
ما عنديش الايميلز الانفيتيشن مش
خالص
ظاهر لي
انا
فيها
I'll find
الايميل.
it. I'll find it. Okay, no problem. Cool.
Okay, cool. So just select the job, workshop 8. Okay, make sure you're in workshop 8, a double entry. Then go to your file, job setup. Okay, so what we are focusing here, you can scan this document. So you can just go to the capture, manual import images. In your sample image, just select the public services and the public service one. Okay, so this will be your sample image. Go to student pack, sample images, public service form. You can select one of the image. Okay, click OK, then just go copy to the job. Okay, and go to the job setup. So once you import the job, you have to right click and copy images to the job setup. Okay, don't forget that. Otherwise, you will not have this image in the job setup. Okay, just make sure you're on the right job. You have this page. Just do an OCR field for the application reference. Just click OCR and just drag this number for the application reference number. So we'll not do any separation. Okay. Just a simple OCR field. Okay. Application number. And if you want to split based on the barcode, you can do that as well. Okay, based on the barcode, you can separate, or you can separate by count, because all the application I have is a one document. So rather than doing it based on the barcode or something, I can use by count. Clear? So I will be using every document will have only one pages, all this application, right? One pages. So I will be splitting based on here, right? I can use based on document level. So you can use by count based on document level. So each one page create a new document. Make sense? Because it just is only one application form, one. So all are separate. It's not anything attached to each other, right? So each page separated document one. Okay, so then you have to go to your index, just create one index field, same like a simple index field, application number. Okay, and use at default, just select the application number from the default. Okay, and this is a record field, and it should go to double entry. If you see in the right side, there is an option for double entry. Okay, so that means this particular index field always should go to process. One will check, then again, without doing a double entry, you will not be able to process. So whenever you do the double entry, that should match also. Otherwise, that is also not processed. Okay, so you have to make sure enable double entry, and the default value is the zone which we created. Zone name here, select it, and put some label here, which is application now. Clear? Now make it okay, right? So output, it's nothing about, forget about the output because it's a simple output. We are doing it. The key here is to check how the double entry works. Clear? So now make sure you select your import. This is always every time you need to change the job to make sure you use the right job for the auto import. Okay. Make sure you use workshop 8 for the double entry and copy the images, public services, go to sample image, student pack sample image, public services images, copy them and put them into the art folder. The art folder is just take one of it. Okay, just paste it to your art folder, then you can run, right? So basically what it does, so each page will be separated because of the document which we mentioned, every page, every one page separate the different documents and also read the value, right? Clear? So now it's splitted based on the document, each document, separate document into separate based on the count. And it's read all the information here, which is the application number, right? So what if I try to process this batch for the output? This is what the error, right? One or more fields required double entry, right? So you are, though it is captured it correctly, but still it has to go through double entry to make sure the guy who is doing indexing, just it's the right number which is captured, right? For example, instead of $51, if it is selected $57, that will be a challenge, right? Everything is money. So you cannot save $57. So it goes to the index field, right? Here, if you use for particular this index, which is 181, this is the value. So if you use 181, then it will process, right? If you don't use 181, if you have a different numbers, then again it will go to the queues. For example, instead of 185, if I select 81, if I select 185, for example, and try to save, see, again, it's popping up. It's saying that The entry 1 was 181, which I captured it automatically. The entry 2, which you entered, is 185 because it's both are mismatching. Which number I should take, whether it's entry 1 or entry 2, right? Then I can say, okay, look at the document. Oh, this is 181. Then I will say, take entry 1. That's right. So same way you can do for all the documents. Okay. For example, if the document 2, if I do an index in the document 2 or document 3, for example, everything is blank here. So it's asking you to enter the data just to make sure there is any problem, right? So for example, for this one, if I do an index, this is 51. If I just keep only 51, then it will process without any problem, right? So if I click OK, that's it. It's fine. 51 is matching. Double entry is matching. It's okay. The document is okay. For example, this one, if I, instead of 195, if I put 194, will it process or will it pop up an error? It should pop up an error, right? So when I try to close, it's popping up an error. Entry 1 is 95 and entry 2 is 94. There is a mismatch. Please look into it, right? Then I can just go here and make sure what is the value. 195. I can put 195 and please enter. That's it. You want to change index error exit because the next document, it goes to the next document. Then you can just say, go to the next document. You can select so on, so on, so on. Make sense? Clear? So this is the beauty of double entry, just to make sure the user or the OCR which scanned or imported, even if there is a mistake, it will make sure that, 2 times it is entered the correct value, then you can process it. Okay, so this one, for example, for some reason it did not take it. This is 195. If you do 195, then entry 195. Okay, clear? Any questions? Good.
Yes,
this is
we
the
know
beauty.
we have a
Yeah.
question from Elvis.
Go
Can
ahead.
a single user standalone license take advantage of double entry index?
Standalone license, yes. Why not? You can do that. You can have one scan, one index. So the guy who is doing the index, it will force the index user to do this. So it can be scan license, standalone scan license, or it can be standalone index license.
This is okay, Elvis? Okay.
So this is just a generic index. It can be standalone license. It can be network license. It can be just an index license. So you can do that. This is just a level of indexing. So it's nothing to do with the group or the structure of the KCB. Any other questions for the double entry, guys? Good. Perfect. I think we are running good. Now, the next one is workshop 9 is the missing signature. Okay. So what if you go to a bank and you submit an application, right? So the guy who's scanning it, or maybe in the backlog, in the later stage, when all the documents come to head office, you do your batch scanning, right? So when you scan these documents, the application forms, if any of the application form, the customer did not sign it for some reason, if nobody noticed it, at the time of scanning only you are noticing it, then it should pop up an error, right? So in auditing purposes, later on in the bank, if they want to do an auditing, if any of the application form it's not signed for some reason, then it's a questionable. You should have it, right? So for that, you need to make sure all the application form should have a customer signature. It can be anything. It can be customer signature. It can be whatever the information is missing information, it should populate, right? So rather than checking it manually, we can configure it in the job setup. Some of the information is missing, for example, then automatically it will populate and it will pop up an error. So here we are focusing on the signature. If any of the form is not signed, then it will say it's not signed. At the time when you scan, especially, it will stop the scanner and it will populate an error message to the user, the scanner user. This particular document you're scanning it doesn't have a signature. Please have a look. No, it can be anything. It is just a pixel count. We are not matching the signature. We are not doing any verification here. No, we are just checking is there a signature or no. That's it. Okay. Make sense? Good. Let's create the same type, new job from the scratch and make it as missing signature. OMR, very good. Yeah, that is the OMR. It's just a pixel count. It look for the pixel. If there is any pixel, even if there is no signature, but still, if you have something, it will take it as that because we are just checking. There should be something on that particular, zone. Clear? Done. Created. Cool. Let's use the workshop 9, which is missing signature. Right. I want to use the same image, the public service image. Just go to. Make sure you are workshop 9, go to the capture, manual image, the public service, the same one, public service image. Was it public service image or the VAT image? Just give me a sec, guys. Let me just make sure I use the right one. Yes, public service, yes. So just go to the public service, capture, manual import image, simple in the student pack, sample image, public services images, all files. Make sure you have this file, okay? Good. Right click, same as it is, copy image to the job setup. Make sure you have that in the job setup here. The missing signature, you will have a job setup. Okay, are you in the same page? So what we are doing here, we are just creating the barcode to separate the document. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are various ways of separating the documents, right? Barcode, you can use it. Patch code, you can use it. OCR, you can use it. Blank page, you can use it. Page count, you can use it. There are various ways you can, do the document separation. For this, let's use the barcode just to separate. So you just click barcode and create a zone. Just create a zone and make sure whatever the zone name you can give it and make sure create a new document. Okay. When you create a new document, then whenever it's read the barcode, it will create a new document. Okay. Then here, so this is the area we are looking for the signature, right? So this is the customer normally will sign in an application form. This is one of the sample. So if the customer want to sign, he will be signing here, right? So we need to check this area. Is there any signature or no signature? Clear? So for that, you have to select an OMR field. Okay, select the OMR here, mark direction, and create a zone inside the box. Not top of the box or outside the box, because these lines also will consider as a signature, right? Because of the pixels. Okay, so draw inside the box. Okay. When you draw inside the box, you will have something like this. Oh, sorry. OMR signature should have something like this. Okay. Then you put the zone name as signature or whatever you want, right? If it is filled, if anything filled inside the box, consider as it's a signed document. If nothing is filled, then consider as not signed. Okay. Then you can mention which side, front, back, whether it's a frame, it's not frame. It's all same. It's nothing much, right? Here we are not creating a group here. No need for the group. It's a single value. Yes or no. That's it, right? So for that, you no need to create a group. You will create a group if you have a different values. You remember we create for the health claim, employed, unemployed, part-time employed. So if you have a list, then you have to create a group. But for this, just yes or no. If it is yes, sign. No, not sign. So simple. Clear? Done? That's it. Okay. Now index, if you want to do an index, so you have to do an index, make sure the barcode, because here we are reading the barcode value. So add an index and give your name as a barcode and select the default value, the barcode value, which we created in the zone from the zone here, barcode. Okay. Then we have to have a signature, right? We need to know whether it's signed or not signed, whatever. Okay. Then make a signature and also the default value, select from the list. Here should be MD signature, mark detection. MD is mark detection. Okay. And the signature, which we create the zone for the mark detection. Clear? So basically you should have your two index fields here. Okay, one for the full barcode to read and the another one to just identify whether signature is there or not. Clear? Then the output, I'm just creating a PDF output. The file name will be just a barcode value. Okay, so this output, don't focus much on this. It's like anything you can customize, right? You want to create a folder, subfolders, file name structure. So there are plenty of things you can do that. Okay, let's
So we have
okay.
a question here, Vinod.
Yeah.
What if the signature is on the last page where there is no barcode, like in the third or fourth page? So how we can look for it? So actually we are looking for zonal area.
That's
so
right. That's right.
So it's not doable, right?
Here. You can see the OMR zone in which page?
Yeah, but if it's dynamic, like contract, for example,
in the
it might
dynamic,
be
no.
2, 3, 4 pages, it will be difficult to find.
You should always have it in either first page or it should be a fixed page, whether page number 2 or page number 3 or page number 5, like that.
Yeah, because there is no intelligent here in the
No,
module.
we cannot.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So now let's delete this. Now we can go to the capture. Just make sure in the auto import setup, don't forget this. Okay, this is very important. Otherwise, you will end up having a different index fields and different data. Make sure this is missing signature. Number 9. Click OK. Now copy the same one. So I have to create the other one. Where is mine? Desktop. And back, copy the sample image of the public service form. OK. Control A, Control C. Folder, just put it in that folder, same as, and just click start button. Okay, so if you look into this images, so based on the barcode, it split the document. And if you see here, it's read the barcode value and also the signature. This document is signed because it's a sign. Document 2, it's signed. Document 3, not signed. Document 4, not signed. Document 5, not signed. Okay. But in real time, if you connect the scanner and if you scan it, then we can have a control to populate, stop the scanner, put up an error here. The document is a missing signature. Please look at it.
Can we forward this message or put something that's like event stuff on document?
No, in the document we cannot do, in the physical documents we cannot do anything, but we can pop up an error message.
Yeah. For example, for this one.
If it is not signed at the time when you scan, it will populate. Pop up here in the screen, in your screen at the time when you scan it. So scanner will stop when that document goes in, the scanner will stop. and it will pop up and it will say the document which you scan now doesn't have a signature. Okay, then it will stop at the time when you scan.
Also, we can mark the signature field as required, and for the not filled value, we can keep it empty, for example, right?
Yes, you can do that. This is what it's
So
all
it
about.
will be
here in the
required,
package.
and it will mark it as
That's
invalid.
what. So you can, this is the simple index here in the signature index. You can say whether it's a required field or not required field. You can choose here. So this all about the index here, how you want to set it up. Okay.
Yeah, we know
Any
Thomas here.
questions? Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah, so since signature is there on third or fourth page, so say for example, on first page there is a barcode and a signature below. So normally if it is there on the last page, third page or fourth page, we need to assign a page or something like that.
Yes, so but it should be in the same page. You cannot say that
Same
it can
sequence.
be this or
Yeah.
this or that.
What?
So it should be
Yeah, it can be one on the third or next on the fourth page. It cannot be like that, right?
No, it should be in fixed position.
Fixed page.
Either
Okay.
it should be in page 3 or it should be in page 4 or it should be in page 4.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Good. So any other questions in this room? All good? Perfect. So the last one, finally, I can see all of you are smiling. Good. So it is the intelligent job select. Unfortunately, you guys cannot see it because
Vinod, can you show this page number where you define the page number for the OMR, especially for the signature?
That one. Yeah, just go to the capture. Yeah. In the capture, barcode zones here. There you have an OMR here. This is the field OMR signature, and you can set up. Oh, sorry. Here, this one. Yeah, this one. But you can put either 1, 3, 5. But if it is in between 4 or 3, then it will fail. So here you can set up the number of pages separated by commas, right? But if you say
this settings
yeah.
in all zones or in the signature zone only?
This is in for the complete OMR zones.
Complete. So if I have multiple OMR zones, it will apply for all.
All, yes.
Yeah.
So let me explain the OMR. If you like 1 or 2 fields OMR, it's good for the KCP, right? So if you have a more OMRs, for example, if you want to scan the student results, for example, the bubbles. So that's not a good choice to go with KCP. Either you have to go with info input or the different solution which we have, right? But as I showed you in the health claim form, if you have 3 or 4 OMR zones like missing signatures and so on, then okay, fine, right? Otherwise, KCP is limited when you talk about OMR. If you have a lot of OMR zones, that will mess it. Okay. So in a form, you have barcode, you have OCR, you have like 2, 3 OMR fields or 5, 6 OMR fields. That's good to go with, right? If you have more OMR fields, then you have to go with the perfect OMR solution, not the capture. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. You have to create in the Capture Pro. It's based on the zone. If you have 50 OMR zones, then you have to create 50 zones for each boxes. Okay, so that will be the challenge. So if in this case we have a different solution where we can create only one box and we can read everything. So we have a solution for OMR, but the Capture Pro is not meant for the complete OMR solution. If we talk about in a page, if you have 3, 4 OMRs, yes, we can do it. Otherwise, you have to go for the complete OMR solution, which is completely different, which we do have it, but completely different. Clear? If any customer in your region or any partners, if they have a potential to have an OMR solution projects, come back to us. We have a best solution we can show them. Okay. Yeah. Because you have to do it with the box. If you have a 50, I have to create a 50 box. If the box goes here and there, it will mess up everything, right? That's not the safest way to do it.
Let's say it's fit with structured documents. If you have unstructured documents, it's better to go with info input to use document intelligence.
Even info input also, you have to go with a zonal. We have to create a zone for each and every boxes for when it comes to OMR zones.
I mean, we can use one of the IDB modules like in Azure
But
or
we have
AWS.
we do have an IBML solution. With the IBML solution, we have a best OMR for OMR documents. We do have an IBML solution. We worked on some of the projects for the OMR as well. Yes, that's what I said. If any OMR projects, if you guys come across, please feel free to contact us. We can help you with, right? We can help you with POCs. We can help you with what exactly they needed in terms of licenses, in terms of the product. So we can help you with, right? Cool. Any other questions here in the room? All good? What about there, Atom? All good?
All good, Vinod.
Yes. So the last one is the intelligent job select. So you should have a scanner for this. So without scanner, you will not be able to do it. Basically, what happens, for example, if you have a different type of documents, okay? So if you have a document like this, and if you have a document like healthcare, for example, what you can do, you can mix all the documents together, okay? Then just a matter of creating a QR code, okay? One QR code, you will create it. You will keep the first set of documents will be health claim, then a QR code, then the next set of documents will be VAT form, or it can be the public service form, anything, then followed by a QR code, followed by a different set of documents. So this particular QR code, whenever it's read by the scanner, it identifies this following documents will have this QR code's job setup. It will automatically switch the job setup. Also, it will change completely whatever the information, indexes, and everything, so on, so on. So clear? No, not like that. For example, now if I want to scan this VAT form, for example, missing signature, I have to scan this form alone, right? I have to select the job and scan alone, right? I cannot mix my health claim form here. Clear? If you use that QR code and followed by the health claim, whenever the QR code read that form, then the job automatically switch to healthcare, then scan the healthcare form and related index field, so on. So you can do that. Okay, so this is the intelligent document, automatically switch the document. You can do that. It especially helps when it comes to the production level, like a BPO. You cannot expect them to just always change the job between, this job, the other job, or the other job. It takes a lot of time, right? For example, if they have like a 50 images in one job, they have to scan the 50, then again, they have to switch the job, feed another 50 different documents. It takes a lot of time, right? For them, every second is money for the BPO services. So what they can do, they can just place this QR code. Whenever you keep a bunch, whenever the QR code reads, it automatically switch the job, switch the index, zap, 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 zap. So you can do the complete production, mix and match documents with the use of QR code. Okay, so that can be easily printed. If you go to our website here, I have one here. Yeah, this one, the patch code, right? It's called a patch code generator. So here you can give, for example, health claim. Right? Okay. So it will create a QR code called health claim. Okay, so whenever it's read this document, it automatically switch to the health claim job, and it will scan all the health claim forms. Then it will read all the barcode, whatever the index field, whatever we created for that.
But when you create these documents, you just write on the red cap.
Yeah. So not really match, you have to configure. So that's what I'm going to show you, right? So if you go here in the job, there is an option for intelligent job select. Go here. Okay. Then here I am saying here, right? Whenever enable it, whenever the simple images, let me just go edit here. Okay. In the setup, right? I will say the zone result if it is health claim, the zone result is this is the result. This is the zone, right? Which I have created. So we will copy this and create a zone. We'll say health claim is the zone, QR code zone. So whenever its zone result is health claim, job setup should be here. The job setup should be health claim.
So
Makes
it's
sense?
like classification based on the QR code.
That's right. So then the so on, you can add more QR codes to the more jobs. So just a matter of keeping this particular QR code for the each job. So automatically the job setup will set. You don't need to close the batch and open the batch. You'd automatically switch the job, scan the document, index the document, go to the next. So in the production level, it will save you a lot of time rather than switching the jobs manually. Okay. So for
you
that, you
mean
must have a
we can mix different type of documents or different
That's right.
jobs.
Different type of document, but it's not auto classification. You should have a barcode classification. So you should have a barcode and you have to assign it. If you find this barcode value is related to this document type, change to that particular job and scan it, index it, close the batch. Next barcode, next different type of jobs. So it's very easy for the BPO. They can mix everything, keep the barcode, scan everything, automatically it switches. Between switching the job, it will be a little bit delay, but it will be auto process.
Okay.
So apart from this, in the output, if you talk about, we have plenty of options here, right? The one is the PDF or blah, 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 the file one with the index, and there is file two also. If you want to simultaneously push the scanned images or the auto import images to the two different locations. Okay, so I want the first one should be a PDF and the second one should be TIFF, right? The first one will go to the share folder, blah, blah. The second folder will be my local folder as a backup. So whatever. So you can have two destinations simultaneously. Yeah. At the same time, you can make two systems simultaneously. Okay, so I can say system one will go to FTP. Okay, whatever I scan, it should go to FTP. And the next one, it should go to, for example, Leisurefish, DMS. Okay, so these are all the DMS, okay, document management system. Make sense? So you can assign it, right? So whatever you want to do, you can do that. At the time, you can send 4 different destinations. File 1, a shared servers or shared location. File 2, local. File 3 will be FTP. File 4 will be my Leisurefish, for example. Just one scan, you can push it to the different systems. Yeah.
So we can think everything.
Yes, you can do that. Okay, all it's based on again the configuration. For example, I have selected Leisurefish. When I click setup, you have to fill all the information related to the Leisurefish, right? At the same way, if I move to SharePoint, for example, then whatever SharePoint which we showed already, FTP, for example. So if you go to FTP, you will have to fill all the FTP information. What is the port? What is the address? Everything you have to fill in here, right? So it's so simple as that. Okay. Email, you can directly send an email if you want to send it, but I don't think so. Nobody will use it. Sending email is become very easy. Even use our smart touch, just send an email. You don't need to have an, but still we have an option. Print, the same like smart touch. You can print something if you want to print. And I will show you from the main screen how you can save and print. And SharePoint, we saw it. Info Input Express and the Active Solution. It was the old existing one which we had earlier, but we are not using it any longer. But I don't know why they still want to keep it, but they're still keeping it. I don't know. This no longer we are using it. And the image processing. If you import, right? If you scan the documents, you can do all the image processing in the scanner level, right? Yesterday we saw how to remove the blank page, how to remove the punch hole, how to remove, the rotation and this and that. So that can be done in the scanner level when you scan directly from the scan. So you no need to rely on this, right? I always suggest at the time when you scan, do it on the scanner level, okay? Not on this level, right? This level, it is after scanning, the time of processing, it will be delayed, right? So don't use this, okay? It will be used only you import the images. If you have an image with a blank page, when you import it, then you can remove all this, right? Auto deletion, you can do that. Orientation, you can automatically do it. Background color smoothing, edge fill. If you want to stamp something, you can stamp, you can rotate, you can stitch the document between, you can split the document 1 into 2. So on, so on. You can do that as well, right? And also there is an option for to invoke to the other program. If you want this document after when you process it, before it goes to the final destination, you can have one more application in the backend that will process it, then we'll go to the final destination. Earlier, one of our customer, they were not happy with the compression, image compression, right away from our, the Capture Pro. They want to have a PDF compression option. That's a third-party software. They want to invoke that program here. So whenever you scan, index, and when you process, it will go to their program. That will process everything. It will compress all the images, and then it will go to the final destination with a compressed PDF. So you can invoke the program also, the third-party program also. There is an option for that as well. Clear?
We can, for example, for the same job center, for example, in missing signature, the document which are scanned are sent to SharePoint to the order, which are not signed and printed. We can separate in the same job structure.
Sorry, what do you mean? If whatever you process to SharePoint, okay.
Printed or another one.
Now that we can do the customization to extent, but it is not something out of the box. You can do some kind of customization in the background, right? So we will charge as a PS charges for that. So we can do kind of customization if it is possible. It's not something out of the box. You cannot do that, right? But still we can do the customization, whatever it's not outputted. If you want to print, you can do that as well. Okay. So fine. So far we saw about the SharePoint. We saw about all these options. We saw about, these things, index. We covered it. We covered almost everything in this batch and stuff, right? Everything is covered. And the SharePoint we covered almost perfect, right? Is anything pending?
We have a question here from Rakesh.
Mm.
Can we mask the barcode from a specific page and unmask? So
No. We can customize to some extent in Capture Pro. Yes, we can, but it's an extra. It's a PS. It's not something out of the box, but we can develop something with extra charges. Okay. Cool. Then the other option, what we have to see here, which we already saw, the import, how to do job select, we saw import, export, user setup. Okay. The user setup is all about what exactly you want the user to see and what exactly the user want to modify, right? So today I have configured some jobs, right? The user simply can go and delete the job. Make sense, right? So as an IT, it's the biggest headache for me. If I have a huge install base, I cannot go every time to train them and install them, blah, blah, blah. For me, I will create in users. So this guy is scan user, is a scan user. So he will have access only to the scan. I have an index user. He will have only access to the user. They cannot create a job. They cannot delete the job. So I can give all the access and the rights to that, right? So for example, once you noticed here, I have created a group called Vinod. Vinod is one of the group. Okay. Then here I have given access to Vinod to see only the job which is selected here. You can see only all the jobs which is related to the workshop which we have created, right? So I'm not giving access to Vinod the rest of the jobs. So I will not able to see all the other jobs here in my job when I log in, right? Only when I log in as an admin, I can see everything. If I log in as my user, so I will be able to see only the jobs which is allocated to me or which is I have the rights to see, I have the rights to modify, right? At the same time, I can give access, what access he will have, right? Vinod, I don't want to give him to create a job setup. I can get rid of the job setup. I don't want him to play around the page setup for the scanner settings. Okay, the scanner settings is the main part, right? People will change the DPI, color, black and white, then complying, OCR is not reading, blah, blah, blah. It's the biggest headache for the IT team. So I don't want to give them the page setup. Whatever I created for them, they have to stick with it. They cannot change it. So I can remove the page setup, right? At the same way, I can intelligent job. They should not do intelligent job setup, right? I can remove it. They cannot change the password for some reason. So everything I can do it here. What access, what job they are entitled to access, what are the key functions, I will give them the rights. They have access only to that. Make sense? The one thing I will show you now, if you see here, as a job setup, I have only from 1 to 10, only the workshop I can see, right? This is my ID because I have given only to the rights. If I log off, if I log in as an admin, for example, this is my ID. I'm admin. If you see the job, I have plenty of other jobs also. Along with the workshops, I have plenty of other jobs. Yeah. So this is as an admin. I have rights for everything, but the user, I can restrict. User 1, only workshop 1. User 5, workshop 5 and 6. User 1 will not have access to create a job, right? So these things you can do that as well. Okay, so it's very safe, especially it's a big environment and big install base. For the IT team, they have a complete control. In the network version, is completely different. Everything will be on the server. The job setup will be on the server. The license will be on the server. So everything will be on the server. So here in the PC, whenever you click the Capture Pro, it will talk to server. It will check the license. The license is okay. Then it will open. Then it will show all the jobs which is there in this. Right? If you want to change any job setup, you will directly do it in the server. Then it will populate to all the users across the organization. But in the standalone license, each and every PC, either you have to reconfigure or you have to configure in one PC and import export the job setups.
Vino, can you show us quickly how we can export and import the job?
Export import job, yes. From here, job setup. Select whatever the job, for example, in workshop 1. Okay, select the job which you want to export. There is option here. If you see here, export, click export, browse where you want to save. So choose the folder, click OK, then it will be exported, right? The same way, if you want to import, just click import, browse, select it from where exactly you want to import and click OK, then it will be imported. So here is the option. And also there is an option from the file also. There is an, where is that import job setup here? You can import also.
Because
Okay.
we can export the workshops that you already implemented, so we can share it with our partners so they can import it just for learning. Yeah,
why not? We can do that. And as I mentioned in the morning, which is the PDF which I showed you, this one, I will share this with you also. This is like a step by step, right? Go 1 here, go 2 here, go 3 here, do this, do that, do that. It's very handy and you will be the master. Maybe next time you guys will teach me how to do. Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
Because you talk about permissions that you can give me rights to do this and this. Is it possible to track the trails, logging trails?
Yeah, everything's possible. In the trial license, it's like as if you have a license for everything, right? In the trial license, we do not restrict any features. Everything is available. The only problem, there will be a demo stamp on the image, output image, right? Even if the customer is not happy with the demo stamp, maybe they want to show it to their management and they don't want to show with the demo stamp, then we can give you, 30 days without demo stamp license. Also, you can do the POC to the customer. So we are very flexible, guys, but don't worry about it. Anytime, if you want to have any questions, feel free. Just send an email. We will respond to you. If you have any big projects coming up, if you want us to involve for the meetings, for any POCs, we are ready to do that. We are ready to help you guys. Okay, feel free. Bring the business. We are there for you guys. Okay, don't worry. Okay, that's all from my side today. I hope at least the session was informative for you guys. Please walk. Okay, so if you leave it today or after 3 months, you will not have anything. It's a blank, right? Install. If the Capture Pro is not installed, install on your laptop. Ask for the licenses. We can provide the license. You have a 30 days free license. Okay, though it's just only the stamp on the image, right? You are not scanning anything original to upload or something. It's just for testing purposes. And just download from our website, play around. Any problem, any questions, feel free. So this is where you will learn. You have to refresh yourself every quite often. Otherwise, you will forget. Okay. Cool. So this is the session for Capture Pro from my side today. And tomorrow, Item will be here. So he will take care of you guys with the info input. Okay. He's a very strict person. Okay. Yes, Item. Are you bringing stick also?
Yeah.